Hey guys, hey third grade, hey first grade. You know what? I don't really feel like writing the words on the board today, so I'm just gonna bing. Wow, very nice. Okay, well, here it is. Today, we are going to be talking about the seventh beatitude. That means that we only have one more beatitude to go. So, woo, exciting. Let's dive into this one. Let's see what we have in store for today. And you know what? Let me see if I can make this work one more time. Wow. Dang, that's pretty cool. And this is a long one. Okay, all right, let's get into it. I'm sure it's not that hard. Let's see what we can get from this one. Okay, so third grade, this is the seventh beatitude, and it goes like this. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons and daughters of God. Yeah, blessed are the peacemakers. Okay, so my first question is, go back to the top part. My first question is, blessed are the peacemakers. So what's a peacemaker? What would a peacemaker do? You can pause the video right here and think of what are things that a peacemaker would do. Well, some things that come off the top of my head are peacemakers are people who, if they see a fight, they try to stop the fight, you know? If the fight is a little bit too big for them to stop, like maybe you don't want to get involved in the fight, maybe they grab an adult and they can come and stop the fight. A peacemaker would make sure that everyone is always included in all the games that they play. Make sure that everyone gets a chance to play a game. Peacemakers would, let's see, a lot of these examples have to do with the playground, but peacemakers would make sure that if you are playing a game, that everyone would know the rules, know what you're playing, so that way it's fair, you know? Yeah, those are examples of like peacemakers. How to be a peacemaker, like as a student, as a third grader, you know? Like what can you do as a third grader to bring peace? So that's one thing. Those are examples of like what peacemakers would do. And then the second part says, for they shall be called sons and daughters of God. So I love this because I think it's really cool to think about being like, wow, I'm a son of God, I'm a daughter of God. That's really cool. That gives me this title of like royalty almost, because God is like a king. And so if we're a son or a daughter of God, we're like royalty. We're like a prince of God or like a princess of God, you know. But anyway, that's just a side. That's random. But sons and daughters of God, this just means that if we are peacemakers, then we will get to share in God's life. So sharing in God's life means that we will get to have His grace on earth. And His grace makes us happy. His grace helps us to act as an image of God, always. Helps us to act like God. So we will have His grace, and then one day, because sons and daughters of God go to heaven, right? Because God wants to be with His sons and daughters. So if you are called a son or daughter of God, you will go to heaven because God wants to be with you in heaven. So you will be happy with God in heaven. That's what that last part means. Okay. All right. So I gave some examples about what it is to be a peacemaker, like on the playground with students. But there are ways that we can be peacemakers outside of our own life. What I mean by that is there are ways that we can be peacemakers to people we don't even know, to strangers, to people who are not necessarily our friends. And how would we do that? What are ways that we could be a peacemaker to people we don't know? Well, I decided to tell a little story, or to show a few photos of this woman who I think always brought peace wherever she went. Really amazing. So you guys might know Mother Teresa. You might know that name. I'm sure some of you do. She's a saint. She's a saint in the church. She lived not that long ago. She lived only, I don't know how many years ago. I think she died like 10 years ago. But she's an amazing saint who brought peace wherever she went. And I'm just gonna like put some photos here. I'm gonna put some photos over my face and talk about Mother Teresa and just tell you guys a little bit about her life. And I want you to be listening and thinking about how you could kind of be like Mother Teresa. So let's go to that slide.
So this is a picture of Mother Teresa. Obviously here she's older, but yeah. She was born in Skopje in North Macedonia. Looks really beautiful. In 1910. And there's just a picture of her with her family when she's really young. She's in the bottom right corner. Just wanted to show you that. But anyway, moving on. So Mother Teresa became a nun, and she actually moved to Calcutta, India. And first she was a teacher, and she taught for 20 years. But while she taught, she grew more and more upset by the amount of poverty that surrounded her in Calcutta. It was obvious that something had to be done about it. And so Mother Teresa received a call from God to leave everything that she knew, to leave the convent that she lived in, and to go and serve the poor. She started an order called the Missionaries of Charity. And eventually, many other women came to join her as well. So Mother Teresa would bring peace to everyone that she knew by serving them food, giving them a home, and giving them joy and laughter. My favorite quote from Mother Teresa is that not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. That is so true for all of us. We can all do small things with great love. So now let's head on back to the lesson and think about ways that we could be peacemakers.
Okie dokie. Wow, that's amazing. I love hearing about Mother Teresa because she is such an inspiration for how she was always joyful. I heard that whenever people would see her, she would always be smiling. She could, people would never see her. It was rare to see her without smiling. So I just think that Mother Teresa is amazing. And I want you guys to think about, I want you to write me like 3 sentences or 3 or 4 sentences about how you could be a peacemaker like Mother Teresa. So you could go 2 directions with this. There are 2 directions I think you could go. You could talk about how you could be a peacemaker in your home. How can you bring peace to your family? What could you do? If you see maybe someone in your family needs help, they're struggling. Maybe your mom needs help making the dinner. You can help make that dinner and give her peace. Maybe you see a family member that's a little bit lonely, needs someone to play with. You could go play with that family member, bring them peace. And there are other things that you could think of. You could read a book to a family member. You could let a family member read a book to you. There are so many examples. So you could think about how to be a peacemaker in your home and write 3 or 4 sentences about that. Or you could think about how to be a peacemaker in the world, kind of like Mother Teresa. So what are different things you could do? I mean, you could serve the poor like her. You could feed people who are hungry, clothe those who need clothing. You can pick up trash around the neighborhood. You can, there's so many different ideas. You could go so many ways with this, and there are opportunities all over the internet too if you want to look on the internet for ideas. But I want you to think about either in your home or in the world, how could you be a peacemaker? And give me 3 or 4 sentences on that. And I'll make this optional. I mean, If you really want, you can draw a picture too with it. I would love it. I'd love to see your picture too. But, you know, that's okay. We'll leave that optional if you guys want to do that. Okay, so that's my lesson. That is it. That's it. And I know it's Friday. Hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope it's sunny wherever you're at because it is rainy here and really gray. It's sad. So I hope that it's really sunny where you're at. And I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys, as always, again on Tuesday. So bye. Have a great weekend.